And welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. Hi, I'm here. I'm awake.
Hi, guys.
Hi, I'm here with Christy Santiago. She's just said hi, guys. Say hi, guys, again.
Hi, guys, again.
Thank you. Cool. All right, so we're here in the middle of the week, more or less, because this past weekend has been a shit show for politics. So first we're going to cover Ilhan Omar, and then we're going to do a separate video, which you shall see. You can probably click on it even now, but don't. Watch this first. On Julian Assange. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. So first up, Ilhan Omar. Do you want to catch him up, or do you want me to?
Go for it.
Okay. Cool. So Ilhan Omar is being smeared in a number of ways, but one of the most ridiculous things right now is for 9/11 because she's Muslim. Why else? So I don't have the exact quote pulled up, and I should. So she said something in a speech, something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I say raise hell,
Right.
because so many years ago, some people did something, and now we're being treated like second-class citizens. We shouldn't have to feel this way. We shouldn't have to deal with people looking at us in a strange way, and then feel like we need to make ourselves look more presentable.
Right.
No, we should be able to go up to said people looking at us strange and say, "Why are you looking at us like that?"
Right.
That's our right to do that. So the only part taken out of that whole little paragraph of her whole speech at was it CARE? What's that? Do you know what that's? Can you?
Yeah, I can't remember the name either. Yeah, I watched it. And I watched the whole thing because when I heard the rhetoric, I thought, well, I didn't catch what they were saying. I felt like even if that was all she said, they still had to turn it into what they thought it meant.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me just go watch it, and it's nothing like that. You could take any tiny segment of what somebody's saying and put context in the front and some in the back and change the whole meaning. And they're not going to stop with her because she's not scared of them. Yeah, and I'm sure that really makes them mad. They think that someone like her should know her place. And then I'm sure you saw the poster with the 9/11, the plane hitting the towers, and then underneath it, her with "We will never forget" on the.
Yes.
I'm so disgusted by that.
There's been multiple things. I have another one as well. And I can't really show you from my phone, but I can pull up the picture and read it for everyone. There's one meme with an Islamic man giving a sassy face. Says, "We kill you on 9/11, and you elect 3 of us to Congress. Stupid infidels."
Mm-hmm.
I got in a pretty big Facebook fight over that because that's just.
I have to say with that, I don't care if she was on the left or I don't care. It's nasty. And if that's how you really feel, you are childish and you are bigoted and you should not be in Congress at all. It's very disappointing that in 2019, we would see grown-ass men and women who get their yearly funding, their paycheck from the taxpayers, showing up with posters that look like they came from the Jim Crow era. It's just, I'm very disappointed. I didn't think we were that far gone.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. So I guess we didn't elaborate quite yet.
Yes.
The part that was taken out of context from that speech that I paraphrased is some people did something.
Right.
And obviously, in full context, that's not what she was getting at, right?
No.
She did say some people did something. And I don't think she was meaning to downplay
No.
9/11. She was trying to emphasize on how she is treated because of the acts of a few who seem like they are like her.
Right.
An analogy or a comparison, I'm sorry, that I continue to give is, look, just because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean you're necessarily part of the Ku Klux Klan, right? That doesn't mean you're a white supremacist. It doesn't mean you're part of the Westboro Baptist Church.
No.
Just because you're a Catholic or a Christian, which is, Catholics are Christians,
Yes.
that doesn't mean you diddle kids, right? Right? So if that makes sense to you, and you're upset at Ilhan Omar for being Muslim, like, cut it the fuck out. That's pretty much all there is to it. This is a non-equivalence.
Yes. I feel like that type of anger, they thrive on that wanting to be able to just punch something or someone different. And that's beyond my brain capabilities. I feel like something went really wrong when you were raised. Something went really wrong because did you not get hugged? Did you not meet other children from other places, or at least their family was? She's American. I'm sorry if you don't like that she's American, but America is a beautiful spectrum of colors and ideologies and ideas and religions. And I think that's worth fighting for. So even if I didn't agree with anything she had to say, I would still feel the exact same way I feel right now about the way that she is being treated, because they are not attacking her ideas at all. I don't even think they ever listen long enough, because they wait for one thing she says that they can go, oh, we can use that. We can use that. That felt wrong. If we take off that part and we talk other stuff and show some buildings getting bombed and then show her in her job, we'll get it done. And that's a lot of thinking of hatred. I don't know another word. That's a lot of hatred. And what cures hatred? It sounds cheesy, but it's empathy and love. And if you can't put yourself in her shoes, you've got a lot more growing up to do before you can call yourself an adult. And don't be in Congress.
And don't be Congress, yeah.
It out.
And I want to emphasize on the empathy. You really need some empathy here, especially since Ilhan Omar is from the Samoan Islands, right?
You know what?
She is Samoan.
Yes.
She's a refugee. Her whole family were refugees, and they came to the United States. I don't know if they went straight to Minnesota, which is the state that she represents now.
Yes.
But yeah, she's Samoan, and I think she acts like she does, and she says she does fully realize like how nice it is to live in this country, and she loves it here, right? So I don't think she's downplaying 9/11. This is something that she witnessed herself, right? But she's also witnessed a lot more bigotry.
Somalia.
I'm sorry. I'm not very cultured.
Yes, Samoa is more like Moana. It's Moana. Sorry, it's a great movie.
Okay.
Stacey and I own that movie. Not we got it for the girls. It's ours.
It's yours.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Somalia.
That's why I own all of the superhero movies and Aladdin. But
Aladdin is hot.
Right?
Like, yes,
I mean,
I would be straight for a whole week for Aladdin. Just saying. But Abu has to come too, off topic. But Abu is. Yeah.
Well, I named my first dog Abu because I couldn't get a monkey. But anyways, that's not the point.
Understandable.
So, other than that, so there, I'm not going to go through everything with this. So I'm going to bounce to one and then back to 9/11 for Ilhan Omar, and then we'll be done with this short little update. But another thing happened recently, very, very recently, as of yesterday. Notre Dame.
Yes.
There was a fire, and I don't know how much damage there was because I have been super busy the last couple of days. I've pretty much just seen headlines and a little bit of video. So, do you know how much, excuse me, damage was done to the church?
I do. The iconic steeples that everybody knows of, those survived. But I think like 60% of the main rectory is gone. But a lot of it is stone, big, huge stones, and you can't set stones on fire. So that saved a lot. But a lot of the rafters and structure was wood. But I do know that just a few hours ago, one of the richest men in France, in Paris, said that he would come up with $300 million if someone else would match him, and then someone else. I don't know the other guy's story. I know that he is coming up with 300 million, and maybe it was. I'm pretty sure I heard 300 million. My jaw dropped, but correct me if I'm wrong. Put that down in the comments. And someone else is doing it too, so that they'll be able to rebuild. They're having specialists from around the world, people that specialize in, antique buildings. I mean, it's almost 900 years old. So it has to be people that is what they do. This person works in 900-year-old ceramic. This one works, and that's what they're doing. They put their feelers out, and there have been people stepping up to the plate to say, well, I'll pay for you to come and bring your expertise. So a lot of people are, doing what they do. You love your country, and you love. And I don't like nationalism, and I would love France just as much as I love America. If I was born and raised in France, I've never been there, but I don't. I still have a familiarity with Notre Dame. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't? And I read a lot growing up, and it's actually an iconic building. It's been in so many books. I mean, The Hunchback. Come on, It's just, it was kind of heartbreaking. I can't say that I cried when I saw it, but I did think, oh, that's just what a loss. But then I started hearing all of the people that, it just refreshes your views on humanity after something tragic happens, which is unfortunate. But when it's something like this that nobody did out of hate, not that this doesn't happen when those things occur, but things happen, fires happen, and at this time in our evolution, we have specialists, we have masons, we have very wealthy people, and someone like me who's never been there, and I have, I want it to be rebuilt. I'm sure everybody does, and I think that they'll be just fine. But they did lose a lot of original art that there's no way to. It's just gone.
Right, it's just gone.
It's just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's awful. I definitely want to come out and say that, especially since we're a couple atheists, right?
Yeah.
We are sad to see this artwork
Absolutely.
go. This piece of history, right? Like, you don't need to be religious to appreciate the art.
No.
And the history of it. And Christopher Hitchens is one to have said that many times. So I'm glad we have that covered. Another reason that I mentioned this specific topic is, again, it applies to Ilhan Omar.
Right.
Breitbart News, to name one, and this is the only example I'll give. The headline here is Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota called the Notre Dame Cathedral art and architecture in a tweet Monday without referencing its name or significance to the Catholic religion. Right, so they're grasping at straws.
Wrong. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They have nothing.
Yeah, so just anything they can grasp at, and like I can speak to some significance to the Catholic religion. I mean, sexual child abuse.
Don't let me take a drink when you do that.
Sorry, Christy.
Kitty diddling.
Off guard somehow.
Yes.
I say Catholic. Next thing that comes out of my mouth is usually.
I should have known.
You should have. You should have.
Yes,
That's your fault. Known. You shouldn't have taken a drink.
Oh, my fault.
There's that. There's taking advantage of people's beliefs. There's the Crusades. There's a whole bunch of significant that can be bestowed upon the Catholic religion regime, really. But that's not the point, right? This piece of art, this piece of history, caught fire, and we lost a lot of precious human history with that, right? So that's the main point. It's not to smear one person or another. It's not to focus on the bad right now. Even when like a shitty person dies, like I think, all right, hold off on the funeral day,
right?
And then, cool, like
right,
throw
because
it all out of tomorrow. Like
the whole point isn't to hurt people's feelings, and if on the funeral day you're out there knowing it's going to hurt people, well, then you did it knowing it was going to hurt people. That doesn't help your cause, whatever your cause might be.
No.
And I'm not saying like when there's a shooting, it's not the right time to talk about it. Actually, it is. But on the day that, they're burying all these children, how about
focus on the children?
Right, and the families and the school. But the next morning at 7 a.m. when Congress doors open up and everybody starts coming, it's time to talk about legislation.
Talk about the issues.
Yes. Yep.
So I keep cutting you off. I can't.
I keep cutting you off. We just cut each other off.
It's okay. Just into what you're saying, Christy. I'm buying what you sell.
You're my biggest fan.
The whole quote here, going back to Ilhan Omar, she tweeted, art and architecture have a unique ability to help us connect across our differences and bring people together in important ways. Thinking of the people of Paris and praying for every first responder trying to save this wonder. That's fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, if you're just sending thoughts and prayers, that's not really my favorite thing. Exactly. But that's not what Breitbart was attacking her for.
Right.
Right? You didn't bow down to the Catholic Church, you Muslim.
Exactly.
I got issues with you.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. Those are only two things going on with Ilhan Omar, who is, again, a congresswoman from Minnesota. She
and a
deserves
mother of three.
I'm sorry?
And a mother of three.
See,
so those religious, those conservative, right-leaning, she married the first man. She has 3 children. Their marriage is healthy. Like, she is their idea. She's working for her country. She's patriotic. The only difference is her imaginary friend is different than their imaginary friend, and because she's different, she is the very, very first Somalia American congressperson in the history of our country.
And the first hijabi wearing.
In the first. Yep.
Congresswoman. So there's all that. And last thing on this, probably, maybe most likely, is she's gotten a number of death threats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many right now. I could probably look. Actually, give me a second to look it up. I'm going to mute so I can type.
Congress, yes. And I've liked her from the beginning. I pay a lot of attention to politics. I like policy. I like to know who is a champion for the people. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot more things wrong in my life. I've had a lot of things in my past that I've got wrong. But you're supposed to learn from them. And Congress people in the House, the Senate, your governor, your mayor, they're just people. Probably someone's husband or wife, daughter, brother, sister, dad. So I always look at it from a humanist point of view. And so she said, whatever it might be, you didn't like the way she said it. She's also never done this thing before, what they're doing. And in Congress, it's all about how you present yourself. It's an acting gig. It's, you want to butter up to those people, and you're not mean to them over there, but you just don't really talk to them unless you have, it's like almost high school, but with the ability to make laws and govern over the nation. And so I feel that someone like her who is so brave, she can only get better. And so I think that I've tried to put myself in her shoes. She's doing better than I could even imagine that I could do. It's with 3 little kids too. They need to have some empathy for her. And, if she had a cross necklace and had a short, churchy haircut and wore blouses, they would love her. Even if her policies were the same now, they wouldn't be as hard on her, because we have other freshmen who they're also hard on, but not like this. This is a different.
Not like
yeah.
No.
Ugly. Okay, read it.
Yeah, so I don't have a direct number, but it does say there are hundreds of online death threats.
Yes.
Towards Ilhan Omar right now, and they spiked. They grew in number dramatically after Donald Trump directly called her out online, linking her name to 9/11, and with that, some people did something. Here's that something, making a direct reference to Ilhan Omar, and he has a huge, mostly radical following.
Right.
So that is super irresponsible. I mean, like, I personally think that's just a call to violence, and I think that should be like an impeachable act, like with the following he has.
Knowing what you know of this president, yeah. Of course, that's.
Don't be gentle with them.
I have a memory. I remember him standing at a podium and saying, "In my day, he would leave in a stretcher. Go ahead and knock him out. I'll pay your lawyer fees." Stuff like that. That's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good people don't talk like that.
No.
Yeah, it's very weird that. I'm not saying that, we have had a recent contemporary president that was moral. I don't, maybe on many things they were, or like Obama. God, he was the best speaker. I don't know if we'll ever again or ever in the past had another person who can speak the way that he could. He could just hold a crowd.
It's fantastic.
But that a good president doesn't make. It soothes the masses. So, but with Trump, he knows he's got the mob mentality. He understands that when he hits that post on Twitter, when he hits that, he knows that people are going to see it and they're going to be like, yeah, F her, America. Because there's no other reason to write that. You are how old is he? 70? Ugh.
Something like that. It doesn't matter how old he is or young he is. He's senile.
He's the president of the United States of America.
And a sorry excuse for one at that. So yeah, there are hundreds of death threats going against Ilhan Omar. Not only for the 9/11 references. They've gone before that. Mostly are on her Islamic faith. But it's getting worse and worse, and it is not being handled, let alone in an adult way. It's not being handled in a safe way at all.
Right.
Because again, she has children. A man was arrested because he was going to, I don't remember what the exact quote was. He was gonna do something to this fucking Muslim and put a fucking bullet in her brain.
Right.
Her head, I guess. And that guy got arrested, thank goodness. But yeah, he said that he's a proud American, and he supports and loves Donald Trump, and she needs to be taken care of and stuff like that.
Taken care of. America's not proud of you, asshat. How about that?
Right. So, my thoughts on this, obviously, is this is being handled in a very irresponsible way. To be handled in a more responsible way, speak out when you see things about this. When you see these smears, look up the full context, because usually, even if it looks like she's downplaying something, she's just trying to emphasize on her main focus, which is trying to get her Muslim brother and sisters to be accepted and not looked at like second-class citizens.
And so her point was, when this thing happened, because people did this thing, we, the American people, started losing our liberties, started losing our rights. This was the point of what she was talking about. So if she was to talk about 9/11, I'm sure it would be much different. But she has so much time up there. She has to make this point, keep the audience watching. So let me get to the part I want to talk about. We need to pay attention, because when things like this happen, when people do this thing, terrorism, everybody loses their liberties. Everybody gets spied on. We have the Patriot Act. I mean, any of you that are, in the future going to be watching this, look up the Patriot Act. Watch C-SPAN. I watch C-SPAN, but I don't know. I like it, so I like to know what's going on. Right, I like C-SPAN, but it was day after day for like 3 days. This particular time, you don't have to watch the whole 2 weeks, but senator after senator after senator saying, this thing right here, you hand it to me right now and we need to vote at 3 o'clock. Can I have a weekend? Can I read it? Nobody knew what was in it. But, out of fear, because there could be another building coming down at any time, we just have to hurry up and push it through. That was her point. We need to be able to take our time, read these things, make sure that we're doing the right thing. Who wrote these laws? Is it a corporation? Is it Boeing? Is it, what is it? Lockheed Martin. Any of these, are they helping write the laws in here? Are they helping write the way the legislation is going to be? And that was, I think that is a good thing to talk about. So instead of saying what she was talking about, which they don't want, they had to go, oh, so pay attention over here to her said. She said, some people did a thing, like she disrespected it. And the nastiest thing, I've never been in love with Nancy Pelosi. She's had her moments where I'm like, yeah, like that. Sorry, I had to. And she's made history. She's a strong woman, but I think she's lost her way. I think that she's too bought. Her best friends are corporatists, which are fascist.
Her husband's a lobbyist.
When she said 9/11 is, what did she say? She didn't say sacred, but that, you know,
I think she did say it's sacred.
it's up here, it's sacred. You know, we
Mhm.
have to go about it very gently and we have to respect it. What? Like the families that were hurt, yes. Yes. Absolutely. The area that was hurt, right. But we have to respect that terrorists blew up. I don't understand that thing. And no idea, no topic should be so sacred that we can't have a discussion about it. That humans in this nation or anywhere, especially in this nation, can't sit down with whomever and have an adult conversation about 9/11. You know,
Right.
about the things that happened afterwards, about the things that led up to it, about what we could do to be a safer nation. You know, so many things. It's not sacred. Like, get the out of here with that.
No. Yeah, because so much happened after 9/11. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I full-heartedly feel like the United States, like the government, took advantage of the situation afterwards. That's why we got like the Iraqi War and like everything that we did to Iran, right? When what was it, 60 like percent or something like that of the terrorists who
15 out of the 19
15
were
out of the 19 were funded by
Saudi Arabia.
and who are we bending over backwards for?
Right.
Saudi Arabia and Israel. So, and like we didn't touch them.
Right. Actually, our president at the time, Bush, you know, I don't like to border on conspiracy theories, so I can say this with being able to say that it is a fact. And I'm sure everybody that would be watching this is probably pretty well aware of it, that our president at the time was good friends. His family was very good friends with the bin Laden family. And before letting the nation know anything, he got them out of the country. So all the planes were stuck on the ground. Nobody's flying, but bin Laden and his family can get out. You know, I'm saying for his family, that's probably safer because there's some crazy people in this country. But no. And then there's just so many things that went wrong there. That's why transparency is so important in this country. In government, transparency is the best way to be, because if it is of and for the people, then the people need to know what the hell of and for is going on in there. We just gotta know, or we're just voting on how people speak. Like Obama's such a great speaker, or we're voting on they make me feel good. With Bush, it was I could have a beer with that guy. That was literally a headline for weeks. He's the guy people can have a beer with. We have to, as a nation, move away from voting with our feelings. I know it's hard work to go and get some paper and write down the candidates that are going to be on the ballot and look them up. Spend a Saturday looking them up, reading from this site, from that, not just one, and make an informed decision on their voting record, on their who they are as a leader. Who do they look out for? You know, who funds them? The voting record is huge. What bills have they signed or co-sponsored? You know, if they have co-sponsored a heartbeat bill, or if they have co-sponsored a strengthen the unions bill. I mean, those are huge differences. And any governor, you know, anybody that's worth their salt for a vote for me is going to be doing things for the people they represent, wherever county, state they represent. That's who they're going to. Yeah, it's some days I think, you know, we've got this beautiful new freshman Congress. I love that when I look at that when I look at the picture of all of Congress, it looks like I'm looking at a football game here. I live, you know, in Tampa, Buccaneer Stadium. It looks like I'm looking out at the American people. There's tall and short and, you know, older and younger, and Spanish and white and black and mixed and Asian, and I don't like identity politics. And I'm not saying that you should get a spot because of these things. I think it should be on your merits. But at the same time, the Congress that represents the nation should freaking look like the nation. It should represent the nation. So there are days where I think, we are making changes. We're slower than a lot of other nations and a lot of things, especially this stuff. But then other days when, that poster with her and then yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's really, really awful.
It's a shitty thing. It just took my breath away. I've done a lot of research when I did that series on Jim Crow laws. That's just hatred. Just, yeah. I don't know why or how that is. And I'm for free speech, but come on, that can't be acceptable. And I'm not saying anybody should go to jail for it or, get fined for it. But the problem for me is that they felt that was something that they could do and should do and went through with it. Like, that's the problem. That's where we're at, where stuff like that is acceptable. And then sit by it, waiting for people to come up and be like, hi, how are you? This is my poster. I'm an asshat. Yeah, that really upset me big time. It took my breath away.
And for good reason, right? It's that's understandable. I forgot to mention a couple things, and I'll try to mention this quick and then wrap this up because this was supposed to be short, but we made an entire show. But there's so much to talk about here, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, what I'm getting at, my point here. The two people in particular that I really wanted to point out who said something about Ilhan Omar's 9/11 comments, we're just taking her out of context. One was Donald Trump, which we already talked about, but to, again, just barely paraphrasing here, he was on the news that morning.
Yep.
Did you hear that? I'm sure you heard that. We watch a lot of the same stuff. And when asked about how he felt about what was happening, and because he's a New Yorker, right, and he has a lot of power there, so the news was talking to him because he's Donald Trump and he's important, I guess. But he said that, what was it? Building number 47?
Yes.
Was the tallest building. Oh, and I just got off the phone with my people, and they're telling me now that my building is the tallest building.
Right. So talk about cold and callous and being, not holding it sacred. Yeah, these are the rules for us, the ruling class.
Yeah.
And these are the rules for everyone else. And if you don't like it, I don't know who you're going to complain to because we are your leaders.
Yeah. It's total bull. And so the dust hadn't even settled yet. Like, they were still covering it. It was live.
They were still putting fires out.
Yeah. The other thing is, I've already mentioned him.
Yes.
Texas Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw. Stupid motherfucker. Did you see what he said?
I can't say that I know what he said, but I might in a second.
Okay. Well, I do not have direct quotes, but he is one of them who spoke out against Ilhan Omar, saying anything about some people did something, right? So here is I don't have the direct quotes.
Yeah, was he went on CNN or he went on Fox?
He went on. He was on Fox, and he was also on I think CBS or something. He tried to call her out, and one, he's an idiot. Because he's already been shown to not look at the facts. He doesn't look at the full context. He just kind of goes with whatever Fox News is selling. Whatever quote mining is going on, right? So, but the issue that I had with him when I heard this, I was pretty disgusted. And please throw this out in casual conversation. He voted down the bill for to continue funding the victims of 9/11.
Yes.
And all the first responders.
All
people
the
who are
first
still
responders. Yep.
getting cancer and dying young.
Yes, they
because
are.
they lost that day, or they were just there.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what that bill's called. I
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
don't remember. But he used to have the Daily Show. What's his name?
Yes, I was just going to look that up. He was so wonderful. He put in full-time job. I mean, 60, 70 hours a week some weeks. Yes, I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She knew right away. Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
He year after year after year fights. He goes to Congress with the people who are spokespeople for this bill and who are there, who've lost limbs, who've lost loved ones, who have lost partners who helped that day, just to try to keep the funding coming to these people who need help.
Yeah, they need health care.
They need health care.
Health care. Yeah.
That's what this is for. And Dan Crenshaw comes out and speaks out against Ilhan Omar, saying some people did something, but he doesn't want to help the people. He doesn't want us paying for that because it's not
about that. It's about don't listen to what she was talking about. Like she said this thing that we don't like.
Don't look at me.
Right, losing your rights and your liberty, blah 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 blah. Blah. Don't listen to that. We're not spying on you. Can you leave your phone on?
Yeah.
We won't follow you around. No, I don't think it's that, but being hyperbolic.
So, to wrap this up, I would like to tell everyone, if you see any of this bullshit online, any of these memes, I hate memes for politics at least, point it out. Point it out that it's being taken out of context. And two, if it's hateful, racist, bigoted shit, I say report it. Like, I don't report anything on Facebook or Twitter, but this stuff is going to get her killed. Like, congresswoman or not, I don't give a shit. If it's going to get a person killed, let's fucking attack it. All right? When Donald Trump posts something on Twitter about her being Muslim or just being cool with 9/11, flag that shit. Get a whole bunch of reports on it, because this is awful. This is absolutely awful rhetoric, and we need to speak out against it. So don't let it stand. Be humanist. Be humanist about it.
Yes. And if any of you want to watch a professionally done documentary that talks about how the laws changed so much and who was behind them and what they changed to all after 9/11, it's called Unconstitutional. That's the name of it. It's really, really good. Very informative.
All right. Stay tuned, because next up we're going to be covering Julian Assange, and we will rant a little bit less. Probably. No promises. So be ready for that. And thanks, guys, all for watching. Close out, Christy.
Stay humanist for Godless sake.